At its core, parenting has always been about one simple thing: getting our kids ready for the world they're going to live in. But what happens when that world is changing so fast that even we can't keep up? That's really the heart of what we're talking about today. How do we guide our children for a future that's totally new to all of us?
That's a pretty big statement, right? But it's true. The skills that got our parents and grandparents ahead, well, they're not quite enough anymore. The future isn't just about being able to read and write. It's going to belong to the people who can create, who can code, and who can think really critically about everything around them. It's a whole new game.
And here we are. This is a question that probably keeps a lot of parents up at night. How on earth are we supposed to teach our kids things we never learned ourselves? It can feel like you're always a step behind, trying to read a map for a place that's still being built. And you know what? That feeling is completely normal.
So let's try to look at this a different way. The whole debate about screen time, it's changing. Because let's be honest, technology isn't going anywhere. It's in our homes, our schools, it's just part of life now. So the real conversation isn't if our kids will use it, it's all about how they're going to use it. Are they just going to be scrolling and watching, or are they going to be building and creating?
This brings us to this idea called future-ready learning. And there's an amazing example of this in action at a place called Robotschool Namibia. See, their whole approach isn't just about teaching a kid to make a robot move, it's about building a certain kind of mindset. It's about giving them the confidence to just try something, the curiosity to ask, wait, how does that actually work? And a real deep understanding of what makes the digital world tick.
Of course, the minute you say robotics for a 6-year-old, you can almost hear the alarm bells go off for some parents. And we get questions like this all the time. Is my kid really ready for that? Isn't that way too hard? Will they even like it? And those are totally fair questions, but the answer, surprisingly, isn't really about the tech. It's about the kind of person they become while they're learning it.
And this quote from a parent, wow, it says everything. Think about it. That moment when a toy breaks or a project fails, for a lot of kids, that means tears and frustration. But here, that feeling gets replaced with resilience. That little phrase, okay, let's try another way, that's a huge deal. And like the parents said, that's not a robotics lesson, that's a life lesson.
So this is the whole mission right here. We live in a world where it is so easy to just sit back and consume endless hours of content. The idea here is to completely flip that script. It's about empowering kids to look at their tablet or a toy and not just see something to play with, but to see a system they can actually understand, take apart, and maybe even make better.
And this chart just lays it out perfectly. Look at the two paths. On one side, you have passive use. That leads to just consuming things, getting frustrated when they don't work, and sometimes it can even lead to kids feeling a little more shy. But then look at the other side, active creation. That leads to understanding, to turning frustration into a fun puzzle, and to building real confidence. The difference is just night and day. And you know what's cool? This new way of thinking doesn't stay in the classroom. Parents start seeing these amazing changes at home. All of a sudden, their kids are asking how traffic lights are timed or what makes the grocery store doors open. They start to see them stick with a hard problem with more patience and get the confidence to actually stand up and explain their ideas to other people. I just love this story. Can you imagine? A child who used to be shy is now holding court at the dinner table, explaining engineering concepts to her own parents. That jump is just incredible. She's gone from being a player in a game she doesn't understand to someone who actually gets the rules. And that's real power.
So this really all comes down to a big shift in our role as parents. For a long time, our instinct was to be a gatekeeper, right? To protect our kids from technology. But the new role, the one that's probably way more effective, is to be a guide, to walk with them through this digital world and help them learn how to navigate it thoughtfully and safely.
And the best part is, you don't have to be a tech wizard to be this kind of guide. Not at all. It's really just about creating a space where it's safe to be curious. It's about asking your kid to show you what they made, and then actually listening to their explanation. It's about celebrating those little moments when something finally clicks for them. And maybe the most powerful thing you can do is just look at them and say, go ahead, try.
And this, right here, might be the most amazing outcome of all. The learning starts to flow both ways. When we give our kids the room to explore these new ideas, they come back and they teach us. The whole dynamic in the family changes. It's not just us teaching them anymore. It becomes this amazing journey you're all on together.
So what's the big takeaway here? The future can feel like this giant, scary wave coming right at us, and we're not sure if we're ready. But what if we taught our children to see it differently? What if we showed them that the future isn't just something that happens to them, but that it's actually something they can build and shape themselves? That one idea, that might just be the most important gift we can ever give them.